Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up today with a special selection, which is where one of you tell me exactly what it is I need to check out. Today's selection comes at us from Michael, Sweet Trip DSCO, a stellar band that broke up in a very tragic and disturbing way. The duo describes their music as electronic pop and shoegaze glitch. This is the second track on their second album, Velocity Design Comfort. So, let's dive into it and see what Sweet Trip is bringing to the table. It's interesting, we have two synths providing us with the chord progression. One's left, one's right. They're separated that way, and they're also separated in pitch. Our vocals are also separated. Oh, now we have a centered vocal. I don't know, that's... Oh, there's a new line, top left. There's so much fuzz, it's distracting me. Oh, I like that melody over there. Has that always been there? This back and forth on this note? Oh, that was short. Real short. What do I make of this? There's not a lot of change or movement throughout this track. We have some minor variations to it, but it's only 3 minutes and it's primarily composed of a single idea that that shows up in like three different instruments all harmonizing with each other. I had mentioned that they're even kind of placed differently. The one on the right was higher, I think, placement. The one on the left was lower placement, and then eventually we got a third that was on the left but higher in pitch and in placement. And they all played this one idea. It's just super fuzzy, simple melody. We had the drums that were constantly accenting the offbeat with some sort of cymbal hit, maybe something replicating, because I think this is all digital. It would be replicating an open hi-hat. The bass kick was syncopated against the snare, which was on 2 and 4. Is that what it was? And then we have the vocals, which they gave us a melody when we didn't have that synth melody at the end. But I swear at the beginning they were separated, panned. And then there was a point in the middle of the track where they both became centered. And that was where they sat for the rest of the song, but I don't remember them starting like that. There was another sound I thought I heard at the beginning, but I couldn't remember what it was. And the more I searched for it in places, I couldn't hear it. I got really confused around the middle point when it felt like the song was more harmonically dense. But when I went and looked for this depth, this denseness, this anything, I couldn't find it. All I heard was that core line that the three instruments were playing, the foundational role, and the vocals. It was really strange. And then at the end, we had that sound off on the left, just a doo 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 doo, just bouncing back and forth between two notes. Was that there the whole time? Because I couldn't hear it anywhere else, but it was definitely there at the end. And then we had so many vocal lines towards the end of the track, too. And that's my whole read of the track. I've pretty much summed it up and talked about everything that I think I want to talk about in the same length that the song was, which is so unusual for me. But either I'm really missing something here or it's just that simple of a track. Now, something I do want to talk about though before we hit the lyrics is the production. It is maybe not necessarily the production, but the sonic quality. It's super fuzzy. And at the end, we started to hear some more glitched elements being brought in while the song was fading out line by line. We were getting less and less of the instrumentation, and we introduced some glitchy elements to it, really messing up some of the sounds and stopping them abruptly. In fact, the entire song stops abruptly. I don't know what to make of that, but the general fuzziness of this track, it reminds me a lot of the hyper compression that we tend to see in metal, especially older metal and black metal. Lo-fi black metal tends to use this too. This doesn't go as far as any of that. It's still fairly listenable, but it reminds me of that same thing where everything feels just a bit foggy and small. Like I really want to see past the compression, but it's really difficult to. But it's also has that smallness to it where everything feels really close to me. It's a very claustrophobic song. And so it's really interesting to have this upbeat composition. We have the hi-hat emphasizing the and of beats, giving us this nice bounciness to the whole song, and the melody is catchy and bright and poppy. But then sonically it's kind of compressed and claustrophobic and cold? Is that the word I want to go with? I think so. Also, I can't hear the vocals. Well, I can't hear the words. I mean, the vocals are kind of pushed into the mix a bit. They're hard to hear behind all the fuzz, like everything, but I can make out the notes and the sounds and the harmonies, but I can't make out syllables. It's a very muddy, just a very muddy song overall, primarily because of all that distortion in there. But yeah, I think it's cold, and I don't know that I picked up on that until I said it. One of those subconscious things, just kind of stream of consciousness, and you're like, oh, actually, that's, yeah, I felt that, but I wasn't thinking it. It is bright and poppy, but cold, which kind of is weird. It's a production thing, but a lot of pop music tends to be, and especially electronic music, it tends to be bright. And this isn't. Compositionally, it's bright, but sonically, the production on it's kind of dim. That's like that compression to it. But it's not just the compression either. There's some other element that's affecting the color of the sound that I don't know enough about production to comment on, but I can tell you it's there. And it's making it feel cold and sort of emotionless, and it's really weird for a flat. That's what it is. It's a flat production that contrasts exceptionally hard with the bounciness and dynamic qualities of the composition itself. Why? That's my big question. Um, do I have anything else to say? Subconsciously? Consciously? I don't know. It's a fun track. It just doesn't really make much sense to me. Yeah, I guess let's hit the lyrics. Short video. Okay, so these lyrics are strange, and my first thought was just, this is kind of weird. But the more I read into it, the more it felt like an AI wrote it, but like not GPT-4, like maybe GPT-1, one of the prototypes, one of the earlier ones. Um, and that's when it kind of clicked with me that it just feels really robotic. And then I checked the annotation, and it's like, yep, this is about a robot trying to mimic a love song, but being logical about it. Um, and so we get lines like, let's design new comfort, and close your eyes until the logic is gone. That's such a good line. Oh, man. The idea that we could find comfort by running away into the sun. Because I assume, people like, I'm starting to tear up. That's until the logic's gone. That's so good. People like to go out to the beach and go get sun, and that could be misinterpreted as going to the sun, run away to the sun for comfort. It says synchronize your time and motion. We're engineers of a gorgeous song. The whole idea of love is making music with someone else kind of thing. So we're engineering the song. So yeah, and then the outro is just to the comfort. Whoa, to the comfort. Something along those lines. Um, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of catchy from what I remember, but like that's not really a sentence that we would say in isolation. And I know music and poetry don't always follow along with rules like that, but this one just feels extra odd. And yeah, when you understand this as a love song from the perspective of an AI writing a love song, it fits. Um, I guess that's about it. Does it fit with the music? Yeah, I suppose. There's the bounciness in the music. It's a pop track. It's a love song, pop music, electronic style, but there is that cold flatness to it in the production that betrays the poppy lines, and it kind of works with what the lyrics are doing as well. I can see a love song out of this, but there's something very wrong in how it's presented to me. And the same thing is true for the music. I can hear all the typical pop love song elements there, but it's just presented to me in a way that's something's a little off. And yeah, so they line up very well to deliver that very interesting idea. 15-minute video here. Kind of short, but I'm not one to stretch things out arbitrarily. Those are my thoughts on Sweet Trip's Disco. I think it's Disco. It's just DSCO. I was gonna say DSCO. That's not how you spell Bryan. So it's missing the I, but I still think it should be pronounced Disco probably. What did you think? Did you enjoy this? Was there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you would like to add on to what I said? Correct me on, provide your own perspective on, or I don't know, maybe just want to comment for the algorithm. Put that stuff down in the comment section. Above that, in the description box, you can find a link to Linktree. It takes you there. Here, this menu is what you'll see. You can find links to my music, a link to the Discord server, ways to support the channel, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three. That wraps it up for today. We'll be back tomorrow, checking out some more childhood nostalgia, and normally we would do a special selection, but we're going to do something even more specialier tomorrow. That's dumb. Don't say that, Bryan. Yeah, just, check back um, and you'll see, I suppose. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.